Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Nikki reporting from Afrobeat Television. Sir, if you can tell our audience what your name is and what you do, sir.
My name is Soludo.
Okay, sir. What you do?
Unemployed African.
No, you are not, sir.
Yeah. Got into a camp. Everybody knows. I mean, I was once the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Now in the private sector, especially into mining. And I'm sure you're surprised to hear that.
I'm very surprised
and quite a couple of other engagements. I serve on the boards of at least 11 companies and think tanks, and now chairman planning and strategy committee of Ohanaeze and Igbo, and several other assignments that keep me running from pillar to post.
Wow, well done. So you must be a very busy man.
Unemployed people get busy.
Okay, sir. I just want to ask, what motivates you to be part of this? Because, as you know, there are several summits that has been done before, and nothing comes out of it. So, what makes you think that this one is something different?
I think, from even the determination and passion exhibited by the organizers of the conference, I had no doubt whatsoever that this was going to be one summit with a difference. I did stress at the very beginning when they contacted me that I didn't want to be part of another jamboree. I wanted to have something with concrete outcomes. And they assured me it was going to be one with a difference. And here we are today. As everybody has testified, it's one investment summit with a difference. MOU signed, major commitments made, trade missions or investment missions already going to Nigeria from next month, August, and so on and so forth. And so the whole key thing is, let's start doing things. Stop complaining.
Exactly.
Do something.
Yes.
Each person at a time. Yes, we have litany of problems. There are litany of challenges. But Nigeria can only move forward if each person does his own bit.
Yes.
In spite of government.
Yes.
In spite of all the milieu of challenges that there will always be challenges, but let each of us continue to do something one day at a time. That's the whole purpose of this conference, and I am very excited that this particular summit has produced different results.
Just one thing before, I know you are in a hurry. The MOU has been signed today. So what do you expect from the organizers of this event for the next coming, or what are they going to showcase for what you have done for them?
Well, I think MOUs have been signed. Yeah. At least at the next session, we should be able to have progress reports. What has happened, the trade missions that are going from next month, what did they achieve? Have the investors started anything? How many investors have come? And how many prospective ones are going to come? On the part of the governments of the Southeast, South in particular, which happens to be the focus of this summit, I mean, the governors and the governments in those respective places to rise up to the plate, put their investment promotion activities in order, package ready-to-go projects that investors can put in money, some pre-feasibility studies, package some business plans for some specific projects that we are looking for investors to come in. And I think there's work to be done on both sides. But much more importantly is that Nigeria remains a land of opportunities in spite of all its challenges. It remains a land of opportunity as Africa's largest economy with the largest population. The potentials remain there, and there's a lot of money to be made by those who take the advantage of it today.
Thank you so much, sir, and have a fantastic day.
Thank you.
Welcome to the inaugural summit of the Southeast states of Nigeria. Welcome again to hopefully what for us is a warm and sunny London. May I first introduce our special guest, our very special guest. Our guest of honor is His Excellency Justice Oguntade, who is the Nigerian High Commission to the UK. He's represented today by Chief Diko Bala, who is the representative to the Maritime Association, and who will be giving us a paper today. We also warmly welcome our chairman and keynote speaker, Professor Charles Soludo. Professor Charles Soludo is the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. He's also the chairman, National Planning and Strategy Committee of Ohanaeze. We welcome our guests from the Dutch Central Investment Bureau, Dr. Nnanna Igwe. We welcome Ms. Nikki Ibrahim, the CEO, Nizam College, and our official sponsor today. We welcome Chief Oliver Nwankwor, the chair of the European Igbo Community. We welcome Chief Mike Ndukwe, the chairman, Council of Igbo Communities in the UK. Chief Mike Ndukwe is our chief host today. Our co-host is Dr Nnanna Igwe, who is the president of Ohanaeze, UK and Ireland, as well as Mrs. June Douglas, the president of the Calabar Central Organization, who represents the South-South community at this conference. We also welcome David Smith, who is the chairperson of the British African Alliance, British Africa Business Alliance. And he is worshipful Mayor Ashad Mahmood, the mayor of Brent. Thank you very much. We want to recognize distinguished guests who are sitting with us in the audience. We recognize our worshipful Deputy Mayor of Enfield, Dr. Kate Anunwe. Welcome, Madam. We also welcome the Councillor and Deputy Leader of Waltham Forest Group, Ms. Anne Mbachu. We welcome our speakers today. Engineer Michael Oparago, the CEO Gibson & Co. Limited. Mr. Gunawardena, Chairman International Consultants, London. Professor Christoph Amdi-Mafidon, Dr. Johan Elved, Councillor Ernest Eziajuhi. We also recognize Councillor Lady Caroline Kalu of the London Borough of Lewisham, Professor Alan Suleiman, and Mr. Dick Van Gelder, the World Creative Institute. You're very welcome today. Thank you very much once again, and I now hand you over to the moderator for this morning, Barrister Ifuru Nwapa.
Distinguished members of the High Table, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I stand on existing protocol. Today's event marks the realization of a diaspora-led initiative to kickstart the movement for the development and industrialization of the South-South and Southeast regions of Nigeria. A few months ago, I think it was about 16 months ago, some of us in this room sat down and brainstormed on what we needed to do to deliver this project. At that meeting, we said that it was no longer acceptable for us to continue to wait for the government to lead developmental efforts. And we thought that the best thing to do was to create a platform where we could bring together investors and investees. Investors, local and international, and the investees are people back home who have projects and also in the diaspora. And this is the result of that meeting. It's my very great pleasure to thank our chairman, Professor Soludo, who we all know is a seasoned technocrat, economic advisor to governments, former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, who took it upon himself to attend this event today. Professor Soludo is extremely serious-minded and extremely busy. And when I said to him that we would like him to attend this event and told him what it was all about, he said to me, I've been to so many of these events in Nigeria, in the US, in the UK, all over the world, and that jamborees, they have a feel-good effect, but they actually produce no substantial results. And unless you can convince me that this is going to be different, then I'm sorry, I have to decline. And I didn't let him be. I just kept pushing. I said, Prof, give us a chance. This will be different. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Give us a chance. Let's do something. And I said to him, we have to actually take control of our destiny for the future of our regions and for the future of our children. I said, we have to do this. Not doing it is not an option. Failure is not an option. We need to start the process of developing our regions and ask other people to come and help us. But the ball is entirely and squarely in our courts. And he said, this woman, I will give you a list of conditions that you have to satisfy. He said, get me investors who are serious, who have concrete proposals, people who have deliverables, not just the noisemakers, because people come, they say all sorts of things, they tell you they have $100 billion stored away somewhere, which is just not the case. I said to him, Prof, please give us a chance. And we just kept going back and forth, and then he said, I give up. I will accept it. And at that point I said, thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof. So we thank you very much, Prof. You've come all the way from Nigeria just for this event. Thank you so much. At this juncture, I'd like to introduce the first item on the program, which is the welcome speech by Chief Oliver Nwankwor. At this juncture, I'd like to introduce the first item on the program, which is the welcome speech by Chief Oliver Nwankwor. Chief Oliver Nwankwor is the chair of the European Igbo Community, and that's our parent organization, membership consisting of all the countries in Europe and South Africa. Chief Nwankwor has provided very focused and serious visionary leadership to all of us, and I must say that he's the reason why we're also here today. If he hadn't done the very hard work, we probably wouldn't be here. And he's brought with him a team from the Netherlands, from Belgium, from France, from all over the world. And so we thank you very much. Chief Oliver Nwankwor. You're on.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to this occasion. Your Excellencies, Ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity to thank the Nigerian Embassy and the representative of His Excellency, the Nigerian Ambassador to the UK. We appreciate your efforts. The support of the Nigerian Embassy in the UK is an example how embassies should support the initiatives of Nigerian diasporas. Thank you. I would like to take a little moment to recognize Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, who came all the way from Nigeria to chair this occasion. In spite of his busy schedules, Professor Soludo took it upon himself, resourced himself, set aside all obligations to come and chair this occasion. Prof, we thank you and we are indebted to you. Thank you very much. Allow me to recognize Mrs. Nikki Ibrahim, the owner of Nasdin College. She is one of a special. She is our chief sponsor. Without her support, we would not have been having this event in this beautiful building and beautiful location. Nikki, Thank you very much, we appreciate it. I would at this juncture particularly recognize our distinguished guests. Let me start by recognizing Dr. Nnanna Igwe, the CEO of the Dutch Chambers for International Business, who come from the Netherlands to participate, contribute in this event. We appreciate it. I would also like to extend the same appreciation to Professor Allen Suleiman and Mr. Dick Van Help. They are from the World Creators Institute. They will really tell us what they have for us. You will be appreciative for them being here and their support for South-South-Southeast. I'm not going to say anything, whether we speak for themselves. Let me take this opportunity to recognize in this meeting the chairman, British African Business Alliance. He's been with us. I saw him during the pre-summit. He has been supportive, and we appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, I will recognize the mayors, the deputy mayors, the councillors, representatives of Igbo and South-South organizations, business leaders who are here today. We thank you. Thank you for coming. I would like to start by stating the following, that the number of people that have attended today is appreciative. By the time you start looking at the profiles of the people who are here, like Prof said, it is not something we want to organize for the thousands. This is something specifically meant for serious-minded people. It is something meant for business. So the people you see here are the people who are focused. We are not today for cultural event. Today is the day for business. Ladies and gentlemen, I would, at this time, express my pleasure in welcoming all of you to this event. I'm glad to see many of the top leaders, the capital market leaders, and top executives gathered here for the one-day summit to deliberate on investing in the many opportunities that abound in South-South and Southeast. I am ready and really pleased to see such an excellent turnout for this event. We are confident in the cause we are pursuing, and I'm sure you too will be at the end of this event. South-South and South-Eastern part of Nigeria borders Cameroon to the east and Atlantic Ocean to the south. South-South and Southeast Nigeria is the place where the wealth of Nigeria originates, and the region that is the economic mainstream of Nigeria. It also makes and contributes a significant number to the Nigerian population. According to the 2006 census, South-South and South-Eastern part of Nigeria constitutes of about 40 million inhabitants. There are 11 Nigerian states that constitute the South-South and South-Eastern part of Nigeria. And we are here to inform you that there are several opportunities in that part of Nigeria. Starting from oil and gas, we have arable lands for agriculture, food processing, food production, packaging, export, and so on and so forth. Speakers will explore and inform you the multitudes of opportunities that are here. We have opportunities in manufacturing, chemical plants, brewery plants, hydroelectric plants, etc. Transport. We have inland waterways opportunities, and other sorts of transportation. We have also large-scale mining opportunities, for example, coal in Enugu, salt in Ebonyi, etc., etc. And on energy, there are a lot of opportunities that abound there. And that is the reasons why we are here today, is to showcase these opportunities so that the foreign investors and our Nigerian businessmen, including the diaspora entrepreneurs, will take advantage of these opportunities to create a win-win situation. And let me say what is unique about this gathering. There are three key enablers in this gathering. The Nigerian diaspora population, that is estimated to be around 8 million across the globe. I can tell you without doubt, the majority of that population come from the south-south and southeastern region of Nigeria. These diaspora members are educated, they are professionals, they will be the catalyst of development. Where there is risk, where there are suspicions, where there are issues, they have lived abroad, they have worked abroad, they know the terrain in Nigeria, they know everywhere in Nigeria, they know the practices abroad. They will be the linking pin between the foreign investments and opportunities in Nigeria. So it is important that the Nigerian diasporians are engaged in this way. And secondly, we are focusing on private sectors. Private sectors are serious-minded people. We are not really focusing on the government. So this is what gives us assurance that this is going to go. And in the same way, the SMEs from Europe across the globe, they are our focus for today. With the Nigerian diasporas, with the private sector, and the SMEs, I think we will make it happen and happen successfully. And let me give you a little bit context. The South-South-South East of Nigerian Investment Forum was conceived by European Igbo Community in collaboration with our allies, affiliates, Council of Igbo Communities in UK, Ohanaeze and Igbo, our sister organizations from South-South. So it is our key objective to promote trade, industry, business, and investment for mutual benefits to all stakeholders, focusing on South-South and Southeastern part of Nigeria. 2, to foster relationship, setting up investments in South-South and southern part of Nigeria. 3rd objective is to make sure that the Nigerian diaspora investors, entrepreneurs are empowered to go beyond remittance and venture into setting up, running, managing profitable businesses in South-South and Southeastern part of Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, before Mike Ndukwe and other speakers get on, permit me to take this opportunity to thank you for taking time to participate in this occasion. This is the beginning of this event. This will continuously be an annual event, going from the Netherlands next year to other countries. Whatever that is not being achieved today, please count on us. We will follow up to make sure that the objectives and the expectations of every individual that participated today will be covered, if not today, in the time to come. Thank you very much for your attention.
That was a very powerful speech from our chairman. Thank you very much. I think he has really set the pace for what is to come. He's told us everything. And the truth of the matter is that the South-South and the Southeast of Nigeria have the capacity, they have the capability to become the biggest economy in Nigeria next to Lagos. We just need the vision, we just need the commitment to get the ball rolling. Thank you very much. My call on, we're going to be very brief, very quick. My call on Chief Mike Ndukwe, who is the chief host of today's event, to deliver his opening remarks. Thank you very much, Chief Mike. By the way, he's the chairman of the Council of Communities.
Good day all. I'll try and be brief. Standing on the existing protocol. It is my pleasure to welcome all the delegates. I wish to seize this opportunity I want to seize this opportunity as the host chairman to thank particularly Professor Charles Soludo, CFR, our special guests, the speakers and delegates who have found the time to attend this event despite their previous engagement to honor our invitation. SSENIF vision is to establish a sustainable channel for the industrialization of South and Southeastern Nigeria, which will have a multiplier effect to wealth creation, empowerment generation, and the eradication of poverty. We request the South and Southeast governments to endorse this event and use it as an opportunity to create awareness in the various initiatives and efforts being put in place by the governments to create an enabling environment for investment, trade, and businesses in Nigeria. Let SSENIF be the rediscovery of the wheel of Emayokbara economic path. Let SSENIF be the rediscovery of the wheel of Upabiasika Proda. Let SSENIF be the rediscovery of the wheel of Dr. Sam Mbakwe economic vision. Let the groundnut pyramids of the north come back. Let the cocoa in the west flourish. Let the farm settlements and oil palm in the east come back alive. I challenge the South and Southeast diasporas to join us in a crowdfunding initiative to be launched after this event. This Diaspora and Nigerian Fund. That we should utilize to establish cottage industries in the regions which will help create wealth and employment. I thank you all. I wish you an enjoyable and rewarding day with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief Mike Ndukwe. We'll go swiftly to Dr. Ohanaeze Igwe, who is the president of Ohanaeze UK and Ireland. Dr. Igwe.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I will stand on the existing protocols. It's a great pleasure to address all of us today on this auspicious occasion. SSENIF is a great concept, great in the sense that we are taking our destiny in our hands. The Southeastern Nigeria has been badly neglected right from the time of the Civil War, regardless of our huge natural and human resources. The main thing that will be different today, I would like all of us to focus on, is how do we turn this from talk shop to action shop? How do we bring businesses from here. We need to keep it simple. You know, simple in the sense that what we are talking about is how do you set up business, how do you set up, you know, a two-man business or even one-man business, or, you know, from small to medium to large industries. How do we make sure that at the end of today, for instance, people who have business ideas, bring them forward? How do we help them to develop credible business plans which will be able to meet funding? I think that is the critical question we need to answer here. Probably the question Professor Ludo was asking would come back. So I'll enjoy all of us to focus on that reality so that today is different. There's a lot of us who have learned from the past, and if you have business ideas, please bring it forward. There is unity in the house, there is capability in the house, there is intellectual power in the house. And I think that if we unleash all this together, we shall begin a journey of economic revolution for the South and Southeastern Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Next on the list is Mrs. June Douglas, who is the president of the Calabari Central Association, the representative of the South Africans. Thank you.
Standing on the existing protocol, I stand here with delight to represent the South people, and we hope to support this great investment forum of the South and the Southeast. In this time of Nigerian history, the economic growth is very, very important. The zone, as you know, since I represent the South, I will focus mostly on the South at the moment. The zone, as you all know, is rich in oil and gas, agriculture, including fishing. We hope that by the end of this summit, there will be outcomes that will be reflective of the following: increased investment in the area, for example, fishing, agriculture, etc., through public-private partnership, PPP. Develop financial inclusion strategies to look after the poor and the vulnerable people of the area. Change in narrative of gas, that is, in global climate change. Gas flaring and the gas to power should be looked at. Oil, as you know, has bad effects so far on the people. We should try and see how we can help and bring the livelihood and good health to these people. The areas that will be touched today should be a destination for investors who will have high rewards for those who know how to do business very well. Let me end with this saying, I quote, "Our children will learn about the heroes of the past. Our task is to make ourselves the architects of the future." This was said by Jomo Kenyatta. So let's try and work on the future and see that we get good investment, empowerment to the people of this area. As you all know, they are the source. They are the rich source of Nigeria economy. So let's try and support, give them good investment, and then investors should please forget the risk, try and go in there and do your best. Thank you so much.
Now, we come to the highlight of today's event. Prof is already up. That is who he is. Prof is already up, so I won't introduce him. Prof, please take it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, can I say, because as I look in the room, I could see people itching to maybe run for their next meetings and so on and so forth. And I thought if we just go strictly on time, because this is scheduled to end about maybe latest 1 o'clock or so, to 12 or whatever. but in spite of the lateness in starting, we can still rest and get it done. Let me say, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I say the mayor of Brent, thank you very much, and thank you to all our friends of Nigeria, and the organizers of this event, and I will say, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's really a great pleasure to be here. And the first point I want to make is to thank those of you who came together to do something about this, to say enough of reading the book of Lamentations. It's now to sing a new song, and that you've got to do something. And I want to especially appreciate all of you, and appreciate Efu. I think with this, the spirit exemplified by Efu in the way and manner we went about this, if this is an illustration of the kind of spirit that moves this group, I'm pretty sure that in the next few years you'll have mighty testimonies to give. But the message I would like to leave with you is that in spite of all the challenges that we may hear, Nigeria and the Southeast are still the place to be. It's the place to make money. It's the place that you can have safety and return on investment. And because I said there's money to be made, so that it doesn't sound like propaganda, I'm going to just make a few points borrowing from a major study completed by PwC. So it's not coming from us. It's coming from an independent assessment. Because if we say it, what do you expect them to say? It's propaganda again. I'm going to be relying on a few points made by, PwC 40-something page study on Nigeria. And the title is Seizing the Opportunity, an economic assessment of key sectors of opportunity for UK businesses in Nigeria. That's the title of the publication. And they produced this, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and the title, the help from Foreign and Commonwealth Office, the Nigeria British Chamber of Commerce, Nigeria Infrastructure Advisory Facility, PwC's panel of experts and businesses that they interviewed, including Virgin Atlantic, BT Global Services, and Guinness Nigeria. That's the source of the kind of information I'd like to share with you. And just a few quick points on their executive summary. The main point they make here is that Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa and promises a large market for any prospective business now and in the future. That's very important thing. So this is not propaganda. This is coming from here, actually, from the assessment initiated by here, supported by the UK government, supported by the UK private sector, and of course published by a reputable firm, PwC. It's not Nigerians talking. And they say Nigeria remains an attractive medium-term export and investment destination for the UK, despite the current challenges it faces. In spite of all the challenges. And three main areas, points that they make, is that in terms of the scale of Nigeria's economy, it is the largest economy now, with a huge population, now estimated at about 196, 198 million people. And by 2050, probably about 400 and something million people there. And there is nowhere else. Sooner or later, that will be the size of the Europe combined, as the case may be. In spite of all the challenges, it's still the place. There is something else that we are putting together to illustrate what this actually means. It's the largest economy by far. And they project that between 2015 and 2030, it might actually grow by another 50%. Okay. The resource wealth, natural resources, somebody mentioned quite a few of them. In addition to oil, we have fertile land with significant deposits of minerals such as tin, iron, ore, coal, limestone, niobium, lead, zinc, and so on. That's PwC. Nigeria's strategic geographical location, where it is a hub to access the rest of Africa, and also, according to them, a natural hub for trade between America and Asia. Again, I'm quoting PwC. It's not Nigerian propaganda. And it says UK businesses are well placed to succeed in Nigeria. Very important one. And we went on to detail how. But currently, UK is losing position in Nigeria. It used to be #1 in terms of even the exports, ranking and market share of top 5 goods exporters into Nigeria. By 2000, UK was #1. By 2014, UK was then taking 11.2% in 2000. By 2014, China had become #1 with 34.5%. And UK has become #5 with 3.7%. UK is on the way out. And part of the thing I said to them is, while you are busy fiddling about and complaining about human rights and who did this one, where is your ranking on the other one, the party is going on. And by the time you finish your analysis, those who see the opportunities in spite of the challenges are there taking the opportunities. And even by that 2000, China was just a mere #5. So you have traded places. China was #5 then at 5.9%, and UK was #1 by 2000. By 2014, UK had taken over #5, and China has taken over #1. And the trend is still going. Now, and they've identified the key areas where the opportunities are, whether you want to export to Nigeria, the various 6 key areas: machinery and transport equipment, manufactured goods, chemical and related products, telecommunications and information services, transportation and travel, intellectual property. These are the key areas you can get on there. But where are the areas for FDI? The key areas are technology, media, and telecommunication, as according to PwC, retail and consumer products, business and financial services, and so on. Of course, the list goes on, but these are the 3 key clusters: technology, media, telecommunication, retail and consumer products, business and financial services. But it says something about the constraints. UK businesses need to overcome a number of challenges when exporting to and operating in Nigeria. But it says, while these constraints certainly exist, businesses can thrive if they are ready to adapt to the local business environment. And they categorize some of these constraints in terms of infrastructure constraints, and then other business constraints such as, financing, labor, lack of skilled labor, security, and all those kind of things. But it says that smaller companies tend to partner with local distributors and wholesalers, whereas large companies typically establish a representative's office in Nigeria and then build a supply chain locally. And now, it talks about the FDI and export potentials. They estimate that UK companies might be able, between now and 2030, be able to export. The size of the export market into Nigeria could range anywhere between 5 to 10 billion pounds on an annual basis, as it were. But also, in terms of FDI, UK businesses investing in Nigeria, they also estimated that that could go increase to about 4.5 billion, from the current maybe barely $1 billion pounds. that it could get as high as £4.5 billion per annum. And that's because of the opportunities that then abound in the non-oil sector. This is for non-oil. And so, it talked about the critical success factors will depend on the progress Nigeria, some of the forecasts will depend on the progress Nigeria making with reforms and so on and so forth. But I end on this PwC study and report with the last sentence on the executive summary. The last sentence here says, the opportunity will only materialize if it is proactively pursued by the UK government to myth bust, bust the myth, and facilitate cooperation, and by UK businesses to build relationships and partners in Nigeria. That's where their executive summary ends. And what is the point here? The point I've tried to make is, this is not propaganda. This is, I'm just giving you a summary of points, and you can Google and read the full report itself. It's some 40-something pages. We're not going to be telling you, oh, it's all roses. You see the challenges, but the point is, people are making tons of money in spite of the challenges. And the next time when you see someone in Nigeria doing business, and you ask him, how is it? And he says, it's tough anyway. Then ask him a question. Why are you still there? Yeah. Oh, it's tough, it's difficult, it's this. But why are you still there? There is money to be made, and there is money being made. People are just cleaning out. Still virgin, a lot of the areas, a lot of the places. Opportunities are huge, as the case may be. So, if you take that, and I want to say to you in terms of what you are doing, trying to come together, both as Nigerians and those from the Southeast, South, and all Nigerians, and to make the point that, quite frankly, it's not a favor. It's not going to help them. No, that's not the way we make the pitch. The pitch is that you come to invest in your own interest. And that's where I rather make the message. Because if the PwC's forecasts and projections, and they're writing a so lot about this next 11, the next frontier markets, and so on, and Nigeria always features. If that were to be the case by 2050, by the turn of the century, Nigerian economy up to, supposed to, 2050, if all goes well, ought to be probably approaching the top 10 economies in the world, and by the end of the century, maybe get into the top 4, top 5 economies, as the case may be. That is the place to be today. In fact, it's the place to have gone yesterday. The best time to have planted a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. If you missed the opportunity before, today is still early, because people are now flooding. And let me make a point about Southeast, South. It's not just about the lamentation thing. It's now increasingly the place to be. And on this same PwC report, I told you it's about 45-page report. On page 17 of that report, it says something very interesting. And that's where it talked about Lagos and the other emerging locations for business. And so I want to say, going to Southeast or South is not just out of, I'm going there to have them. No, that is where it is happening. And I said, aside from Lagos, this PwC report identifies 12 other major locations where they become almost like key other islands of opportunity. And here and there, they point out the following. They say Port Harcourt, Aba, Warri, Onitsha, Enugu, Benin City, Ibadan, Ilorin, Ogbomoso, Kaduna, Kano, and Zaria. 12 of them. You know what? 6 out of the 12 are in the southeast, south-south. So when you've chosen, focusing on southeast, south-south, it's not just maybe because you come from there, but this independent study says that's the place to be. And I think it's important that we say this. And also within this area as well, there is massive, what we now call, I know you've been talking about FDI, I'm sure you also know about the DDI, the direct domestic investment that is now massively going on, and especially the southeast that I can speak authoritatively about, the direct domestic investment. Okay, and that is people from the southeast with capital and access to capital who are now flooding the areas. Hundreds of millions and billions dollar worth of investments, because they see that this is the place to be, and we must be here now to take advantage of the opportunities. This is, the DDI is happening massively now. I know, for example, in Anambra, that's been accelerated in terms of the memorandum of understandings, and several of them that have already put in terms of the MOUs already signed, so about 7 billion, but in terms of those who are already on ground, hundreds of millions of dollars already on ground in terms of funds that are doing this. And these are mostly also Nigerians who are doing this. What is the point? And I will say this: domestic capital almost always leads foreign capital. Domestic capital will almost always lead foreign capital. When they come, they stay somewhere and they are watching where the domestic ones are going. You lead the way, they follow. And so, for those of us who know the terrain and who have the networks and the capacity, is the time for you. Once you start doing, you will see the FDI begin to rush into the place. Make no mistake about it, the Chinese are everywhere now. They are everywhere. They're not caring about whether Boko Haram is doing something in Sambisa forest, or the other one is in the other places. They see the thing, they are digging it. If the minerals, you are not giving concession, the artisanals are digging. If they are not, they are there everywhere. In Anambra alone, I think there are now 3 or 4 institutions where people go to learn Mandarin, they go to learn Chinese language. Even the university and the polytechnic, they are all offering the Confucius Institute. People are going there to learn. Hundreds of them everywhere. They are teachers, they are Chinese teachers. As the case may be. So why people are here still saying, you have to do this and that for us, give us this condition, and they say, don't worry about the conditions, we'll fix the conditions. Why? There is money to be made, and they are making money. As they are making the money, they whisper to their friends back home, come on. It's happening there, but don't tell the locals about it. And anyway, we can be here and we can eat all our farina and our poundo yam and so on, and complain about the government. That government is not, we're talking about the government. The Chinese are underneath and doing the business. There are institutions that can help to facilitate this. I know in Anambra they have ANSIPA, the Anambra State Investment Promotion and Protection Agency. Similarly, in several other states to help, that can help. One-stop place where you come, they help you to put together the investment that you need. You need the land, you need this facilitation, you need this concession, and so on and so forth. And of course, for Nigeria in general, there is a gamut of incentives there's a gamut of incentives, pioneer status for new manufacturing firms, even duty-free for raw materials to produce livestock feed and so on, and several other, even on some parts of machinery, as the case may be if you are going into agriculture, especially for food and agro-allied industries. Because with this huge population, you will never go wrong in those sectors, the consumer goods and so on and so forth, ICT and so on. And I end by asking, when is the right, let me make this point before I conclude, which is about our diaspora. I got mentioned about 8 million. I wrote sometime in 2012 about whether, I wrote on the back page of this day, whether Nigeria was going to be losing the 17 million diaspora. People have all kinds of numbers about it. I estimated about, then was about 17 million. And whether we're going to have this. And particularly in the Southeast, it's very auspicious because in the Southeast, the dominant ethnic, Southeast, South-South, the dominant ethnic group happen to be the Igbos. And the Igbos happen to constitute what you might call, in some sense we can describe them now as an emerging global tribe. You know, they're globalized, and that is, they're now emerging, just like you know about the Chinese, you know, the Japanese, the Indians, the Lebanese, and of course, these have become global tribes. They're everywhere. They have networks everywhere. We'll just give an example of the Chinese. The Igbos are getting into their phase. I travel around Africa and I see the settlements and the networks everywhere. I was surprised, in some cities where you come, they tell you, oh, this street owned by Nigerians. And they say, what are they doing there? They are selling motor spare parts and pharmaceutical, whatever. In fact, in two of them, two capitals in Africa, I tried an experiment. I told the guy taking me and I said, stop, let me see these Nigerians. And I just took random walk. And I would just walk into one shop with a spare parts thing. And I'll come there and I'll say, Kedu? What is that? The man. Say, I will speak some Igbo to the and will switch into Igbo and speak. Then I'll say, I'll ask for one thing. If you see they're selling Toyota parts, you start asking for Honda. I will say, no, it is in the store. Wait a minute. Now you say, okay, you walk into the next one. Now, I randomly walked into 10 of them, and it's only in one of the experiments. In one place, the 10 of them all spoke Igbo back. In the second place, it was only in one that there was a sales, somebody I presume must be a sales girl. When I asked that, the lady smiled and spoke Odema with an accent that revealed that he just had it, he must have had it from the owner of the company. And then I smiled, I said, okay, no, don't worry. I see them, this migration all over. People might say negatives about it, oh, they're running because they want me. No, this next generation, it is these networks all over that then feed back. If you see the Chinese as they were taking up, more than 50% of the FDI that went back into China, basically led by ethnic Chinese all over the world. That started as FDI. And so, to turn what is this wave of migration, a network all over the world, into an opportunity. Because an itinerant tribe needs a prosperous homeland. I want you to take on this point. An itinerant tribe always needs a prosperous homeland. And I can understand why you are concerned about the Southeast. If you're concerned about the Southeast, it's now time to do something about it. And so, for our friends of Nigeria, friends of the Southeast who want to invest in our place, who said the best way possibly First, there is money to be made, and people are making tons of money. And people are already still flooding to the place. It's the place now that is scrambled for the place, as we thought. So when you say if somebody wants to come, it comes. Forgive you if you come and you're given. I mean, the government helps you acquire a piece of land there. It's already a gold mine to start with. Because in a few years to come, it will no longer be available. With the 400 million people, where are they going to be? So, I want to wrap up this, my summary message to you, our dear friends all over, and those of us who are out here as well in this networking, is that now that we're waking up to this responsibility, at least to draw people's attention to it. But the key message is that you will be investing in South, and Nigeria in general, not out of charity, not that you're going there to do them a favor. You would have done yourself and your own families and generations to come billions of dollars worth of favors by going there. The scramble is on, and the earlier you take hold of it, the better for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Soludo. If anybody was wondering whether Professor Soludo is the right person to be the chairman for this event, I'm sure you are more than convinced that he has everything it takes to lead this event. He has the skills, he has the international exposure, he has the expertise, he has the knowledge. What else do we need? Thank you very much, Professor Soludo. And I must say that in relation to what he said, I was very interested in the direct domestic investment, the DDI, because that really affects each and every one of us. Every one of us here, I believe, is a potential investor. And what we're saying is, let us begin to look inwards. Let us take, it's not just sending money by Western Union. It's not just sending money back home to relatives. Let us take this money and begin to do stuff in tangible and concrete terms in the South-South and South-East. So I encourage everybody to give this a thought and begin to think of how we can harness the resources that we have back home. Thank you very much again, Prof. The next person on the list is our beautiful official sponsor, Nikki.
Good morning. Our distinguished guests, thank you for attending. Professor Soludo, the Mayor, we say thank you. This is actually a groundbreaking event, the SSENIF event. My name is Nikki Emelike. The event is to showcase the huge investment and business opportunities in the southern and southeastern sections of Nigeria. Before I carry on, I would like to tell you this story because everyone needs to know about this story and how everyone got to sit here today. Last year, the chairman of the UK came to me, Mike Ndukwe. That was last year. And he then specifically told me about this event. But at that particular time, I wasn't actually going to do anything. So as he proposed, talked to me, and specifically told me about the event and was about 40-45 minutes for talking. And he said he was going to send me some details on an email. And I said, that's fine, thank you. So as he sent it, and he sent a list of proposals and sponsorship letters. And as everything was there, I replied, no. I said I wasn't going to. Do you know what he did? He replied me and said, thank you. And this was last year. And I'm like, wow. I didn't know if he was angry with me or he was going to be upset with me. I said, maybe next time he sees me, he's going to be like blank me or anything. So I said, okay, that's fine. So as we carry on moving forward to March, sometime in March, he then called me again. And this time around, I was going to listen to him, but he didn't know that. I think possibly he was calling me to say hello to me. I don't know, Mike. So it's up to you if you knew, if you were going to say that to me. But literally, he said hello, and I said thank you. We were talking, and I said to him, "What about your event?" And he started talking about this event. Anyone who knows me, when you speak and speak facts, I listen. That was what was missing last year. But this time around, you could see he understood what he was trying to aim. He understood every aspect of what he wants to achieve in the Igbo land. And as a community person, I realized, and he kept on talking, he never even knew I was going to do anything. And he kept on talking and specifically saying lots of things to me. And he never knew he sold. And then I said to him, okay, I'll think about it. Let's have a meeting. And then we met. And when we met, he again specifically pointed out all the benefits to the Igbo community, our Igbo land. And I said, well, I would want to, invest, and I want my money back. We started with £1,000. I said, I'll give you £1,000, and it's going to be a loan. And I looked at him, and I said, and he carried on and started talking to me. And I said, okay, don't worry, I'll definitely invent and sponsor this. Then I actually increased it to £2,000. And I actually said to him at that time, I said, you don't need to pay back. Please, you don't. And to make this clear, the reason why I invested in this is to implement strategies in our Igbo land to create wealth. That is the reason we're doing this. We are not going to focus on distractions because there are too many distractions, too many. And we have to make sure we implement actions. And that is why I am here today. So thank you very, very much, Mike, for calling me that day. I do appreciate it. Thank you. So to move along, just telling you a little story. So to move along to SSENIF, I'm actually collaborating with a university as we speak to invest in Igbo land. It is huge. When I mean huge, it's going to be, massive. And what we are looking for is action-based individuals. We do not want to talk, you go one side. Please, please, please. I do not talk. I am an action lady. I am a businesswoman. Yeah? So please, let's do this. Let's create wealth in Igbo land. Let's make sure that all the people who are talented are being given an opportunity to create something for themselves. Because there's a lot of people, a lot of talent. So let's help these people. Let's make sure that we do something for them. So we're trying to do this project with the university, and also another university has come aboard. So actually I've got 2 universities interested in this. But like I said, it's going to be planned accurately, and a lot of things is going to be done to make sure that this works out. We're going to be focusing specifically on apprenticeship, technical apprenticeship and non-technical apprenticeship as well, which includes agriculture, electricals, mechanical, fishing, and technology apprenticeship, and so many more. We also are going to be focusing on teacher training programs, because it's very important to educate our people and to get them to a level to, achieve and enhance themselves both personally and professionally, and of course also create wealth for them as well. So we're going to be doing this. I also have knowledge in funding, grants and business plan. So if you have a problem or have an issue, I'm very, 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 very busy, but however, I can give you pointers in regards to when you're going for funding and what you need to do in terms of business plan. And I also have a template of business plan, so you have to start from somewhere, because it's groundbreaking. It's never going to be something that, if you're a business person and you're expecting for others to do things for you, forget it. Because no one's going to do anything for you. You have to sacrifice your time to do this. So if you're not going to do that, please, this is not meant for you. You have to sacrifice your time and every aspect of what you bring to bring this and make this happen for yourself. So, like I said, we are creating something in Igbo land, and we're going to make it happen. And thank you. And to go further and to complete this, I would like to say thank you to Efuru for organizing this. If it wasn't for this lady, she was an inspiration to me. She doesn't know that though, but don't tell her. Don't tell her. So she's an inspiration to me, and I really do love this lady. Mike Ndukwe, who has come up to be a dear friend of mine. Thank you so much. So please, let's focus on this event and make this event something to be actualized, something to be implemented. Let's go back to Igbo land and make this happen. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Very quickly, and by the way, I'm lobbying Nikki to cite one of the schools in my local government. Yes. So shall I call on the Honorable Mayor of Brand to talk to us for 1 minute? Thank you very much for coming, sir.
Thank you very much. His Excellencies, respected chiefs, councillors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to every one of you. Or is it good afternoon, I think. First of all, can I say a great thanks to the organisers for this event, and congratulations to South and Southeast Investment Forum for setting up this forum for the betterment of the people of their region. My thanks to Professor and to Nikki for their invaluable speech and insight to the affairs. My name is Councillor Arshad Mahmood, and I'm the newly elected Mayor of London Borough of Brent. It is a huge honour and a privilege to represent the people of Brent here today. I'm absolutely delighted. Can I just introduce to you? Can I just take the opportunity to introduce to you a Nigerian-born, my Deputy Mayor, Councillor Ernest. Can you please stand up? Thank you, Ernest. I'm not going to deliver any long speech, just a few words, because I'm sure there are so many people to come and give you much more interesting speeches than myself. So, can I just say that London Borough of Brent, which I represent, is the most multicultural, diverse community in the UK. We have 325,000 people living in this 17 square mile land, and we have nationalities from 150 different countries of the world. In fact, there are more than that languages spoken in Brent, and we are very proud of our diversity. I also like to say that there are, as I understand, great opportunities in the south and southeast region of Nigeria, because the Almighty has blessed this region with so much natural resources which need to be developed and tapped in. And that's, I believe, the aim of this meeting today. I would like to urge all of you who have been blessed with money and with talents to make sure that you do your best to invest in this region so that the people of that region can benefit from your investments. I'm sure everybody is in for money, and we all like to invest where we can make money. But if the benefit of these investments goes to the local people, the needy, I'm sure you will have profit as well as great satisfaction that you are actually doing it for the good cause as well as your businesses. So basically, I'm very delighted to be here today, to be part of this, and I would like to ask the Nigerian diaspora that if they take this initiative, if they are committed to it, I'm sure success will be there for them, and they will be doing a great job. Also, lastly, can I just say that during my mayoral year, I'm actually supporting 2 of my charities, which happen to be working for the needy people of Brent, as well as for the education for the poor and orphan people in Pakistan. So eventually, one day I will be asking for your support in that. I hope you will come through. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mayor. We move very swiftly. We have Chief Oliver, who is the chairman of the International Mobile Satellite Organization, the Nigerian alternate permanent representative to International Maritime Organization, and the UK representative of the Nigeria Maritime Administration Safety, NIMASA. You're welcome, sir.
Nigeria, with a population of 185 million, or 90 million as it may be, we have a coastline that covers about 853 kilometers and an exclusive zone of about 200 nautical miles. It is also a littoral state with a coastline of about 420 nautical miles, as well as 10,000 kilometers of inland waterways linking states like Kogi, Niger, Benue, Nasarawa, Borno, Zamfara, Sokoto, Kwara, Edo, Bayelsa, Rivers, Imo, Delta, Lagos, amongst others. So you can see the linkage of the inland waterways. The major ports are Lagos, Tinkan, Apapa. Interestingly, on airport, Port Harcourt, Calabar, Warri, Sapele, and over 70% of the terminals and jetties are all domiciled in the South-South. When I was the SA to the last minister, Senator Idris, I was his last SA on marine operations. I was a special advisor on marine operations. I had to ask for a committee to be set up to find out why over 70% of the cargo coming into Nigeria, they come through Lagos and Apapa ports. Why? And you'll be shocked to know that over 70% of this cargo are destined for Aba, Port Harcourt, and the rest. Why is it that we have this port? The report is there in the ministry. I urge you, if you can, because I spoke to the new minister when he came, and he has set up a committee to revisit that. Why is it that in developed Badagry, Lekki, Boni, Ibom, Cross River, all intended to be deep sea ports? Nigeria is the dominant player in West and Central, with over 70% of ship traffic in this sub-region. The size of the market ranges from 25 billion to 2 trillion US dollar, with an annual GDP of 35% to 45%, which is second to oil. Nigeria has been identified as one of the main countries, just like Professor has said, alongside Mexico, Indonesia, Turkey. As a base, this is based on her high ranking as a favored destination investment haven. Nigeria's vision of 2020 goals, it is compelling to align with macroeconomic policies of the government. Furthermore, the CBN monetary policies are geared towards capturing investors' confidence globally with the establishment of a Financial Stability Strategy, FSS 2020 Directorate. The Nigerian government, again, is doing everything possible to ensure drastic reduction in bureaucratic red tapes impeding investment in the country. Hence, the Executive Order number 001 of the 2017, which is the One-Stop Investment Center issued by the Vice President, Professor Lemi Osibanjo, which is to create an enabling environment for businesses and entrench measures and strategies aimed at promoting transparency and efficiency. The Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, at the Africa at North Shipping session in 2017 mentioned that the federal government has established, again, a national trade data center, which are expected to eliminate inherent corporate governance abuses and assure investors that they have good returns on their investment. Just like Professor has said, you invest money, you want your returns on your investment. The Director General of the Minster also mentioned that the abundant trained workforce with standard regulatory regime among others, which are benefits applicable to investing in the Nigerian maritime sector. There are regulatory agencies put in place by government to guide investors in facilitating investment in Nigeria, e.g. the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Agency, that is the PPP project, the Free Zone Authority, the Reformed Customs Services, the Nigerian Maritime Administration, and especially the cabotage regime, which avails Nigeria the opportunity to participate in the maritime sector. What are the opportunities? Because of time, I'm going to I've listed the opportunities that are there. You have ship agency. Ship agency for every vessel that comes into Nigeria. Every vessel that comes into Nigeria and goes out of Nigeria has to have an indigenous shipping company to husband it in Nigeria. Every vessel. Then we have the shipbuilding. We have ship acquisition. We have ship repairs. We have over 5,000 vessels that come in and out annually of Nigeria, also outside Nigerian ports. These vessels need repairs. So there are opportunities in ship repairs. We have opportunity in recycling and graveyard. The graveyard is where a wreck is removed and kept. And when it is kept, it needs recycling. These are opportunities that are in the maritime industry. We have wreck removal. We have over 1,000 vessels, if you don't know, over 1,000 vessels that are abandoned in our coastal waters. These are ready to be removed. We do not even have the resources to remove them. So these are opportunities that the private sector can come in. You have ship equipment, ship handling, port concessioning, terminal operations, shipping and auxiliary services, offshore operation services. You have dredging. Now, dredging, all our ports, both river ports and our ports in our river ports and our main ports are all dredged. There is continuous dredging. Inland waterway needs dredging. These are opportunities for Nigerians or investors to come and invest in. You have ferry services. One of the policies of this government today is to see how it can enhance our inland waterways. Because they want to develop the inland waterways and the railways. So there are opportunities for you, because one of the biggest ports is the Onitsha port. All the goods that are coming from Lokoja, you have the MOT cement in Lokoja, you have the Ajokuta cement that is coming up. All these are the avenues that these goods and services will be moved to the port is through our inland waterways. And where is our inland waterways based? 70% of our inland waterways are based in the south. We need to think of marine and bunkering services. We need to think of deep sea ports, of course, I have to mention that, and specialized ports. We're just trying to export yam. Do we have specialized ports? Do we have the facility for when you bring in these goods from the north or wherever you bring them? Our ports were originally built for container and bulk cargo, but the bulk cargo are not meant for agricultural produce. We have to start thinking of how we can build special ports. We have chandling. Chandling today is controlled by foreigners. Chandling, that is, you supply water to vessels, you supply fruits, you supply water. These are businesses that you can go into. We have channel management. Now, what are the other complementary services? Agricultural produce and handling, preservation, storage, that's transportation, investing in special mode of transportation, e.g. wagons, flat box, open box, and whatever. We're going to start exporting rice. We probably start exporting cassava, because we're already #1 producers of cassava. How do you move these things from upland there down to the port? You need to have special wagons. We have to start thinking. We will not allow just Nigerian Railway to be doing this. We have to start thinking of this specialized mode of transporting this agricultural produce from the north down to the south for export. Maritime education, research, and training. Inland container depots. The president just one of them in Funtua or in Kaduna. These are PPP projects. We shouldn't allow just government to be involved. We can have PPP projects on that. Then we have container freight stations. If you go to Malaysia, you go to some of this Singapore, you have freight stations. And I know Shippers Council is advocating, because they are the agency that is responsible for that. Freight stations are where you move container, you have a park where you go, massive park, you have all the bank there, you have everything there. The tankers just go there, or trailers or whatever, they stay for a couple of hours or days and they move on. These are freight stations. We're talking of bonded warehouses, road linking the ports. If you go to all the ports, look at Lagos and Apapa ports, look at Port Harcourt ports. All the roads linking to these ports are in terrible shape. Government does not have the money to build these roads. PPP projects can be done. You have cargo handling, stevedoring, power, Apapa Port, Lagos Body, Calabar, Onin. They can produce their own power. They can produce their own power and provide these services. You don't have to rely on government. We're talking about cargo handling, stevedoring. Stevedoring, movement of cargo from the vessel down and loading. These are businesses that you can go into. We have money. Money is when the vessel comes, especially that we're talking about cabotage. You can set up a mining company. You can even set up a mining college where you have seafarers put on board vessels and you earn dollars. All this is in dollar. You have hydrography services. You have pollution control, survey services. You have search and rescue services, insurance and reinsurance brokerage. You have import and export management. You have legal services. You have tourism and hospitality. All these are businesses that opportunities are there. Opportunities are there. It is only if we dare into them. What are the incentives? 12th largest producer of crude oil, 8th largest exporter of crude oil, 10th largest proven gas reserves, with Nigeria's diversification policy to agriculture and mining, achieving a 47 revenue base in this direction. We are going now into agriculture and mining. And this is meant for export. Local consumption and export. Largest population and economy in Africa. Port-free zones enjoy 100% repatriation on capital and profits and other benefits. With the above investment opportunities and the huge market driver, Nigeria should certainly be your preferred investment destination. God bless you.
And on that note, I'd like to invite Ms. Professor Dick Van Gelder, who is the president of the World Creative Institute and has come all the way from France. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you to let me speak to this event. I'm very honored to be amongst very enthusiastic people who wants to do something for their homeland while you're abroad. I heard the previous speakers telling you about motivation, about what's happening there and what you can do for those people over there, your homeland. It touches me. It really touches me because I was introduced to the Igbo people by Professor Sulumiak, who sits on the table, and he told me, I didn't know about Igbo, he told me how important you people are globally, all over the world. Thank you. I think it really matters because myself, I'm Flemish, I'm from Belgium, and the Flemish part in Europe always have been a little bit like Igbo people. They have all been recolonized by French people, by Germans, by Holland people, by Spanish people, and yet we survive. And we survive because we have our own culture, we have our own meaning, we have our own economy. And this has been made possible because we have been pushed in a corner. And that's exactly what Igbo people also have been experiencing for centuries. We have been pushed in the corner. And I really think we share some same ideology that we want to move forward, not only economically, but we want to make a proof to make a better world, a transparent world, a honest world, and bring back the richness to people who make that richness. You have been looted for years, Nigeria and Africa in general. And I'm talking today about intellectual properties. As you know, intellectual properties is very, very important for Africa because there is a lot of intellectual property in Africa. But on the world front, you're not represented. You don't take profit from it. It's all the big institutions, the colonial powers from before, who have their hands in that, who take all the money on intellectual property. It's time to stop this. And we have the technology right now to make it possible. For many, about 6-7 years now, I'm a consultant in blockchain technology. I don't know if you know this technology, but blockchain technology is some new virgin technology who will make internet and our data safer, transparent, and bringing back to the original people. And this is a technology which embraced by a lot of big companies like Apple, even governments and banks are investigating in this technology because it will change the world, it will change the economy like we know it today. So in this respect, I approached the Professor Souloniac from Paris, and I told him, you are busy with a new standard about intellectual property. What are you doing with this data? Are you putting that on servers? Yes, he told me. So then you have a problem because, you know, with the technology of today, students can hack into your system and steal all your properties. Yes, I know, he says, I heard about blockchain and so on and so on, and so we became friends. And he told me about Igbo, he told me about his efforts he already made in 2016 in Enugu. He went to Enugu for 3 weeks, he trained some youth there to make a project which I'm going to explain on a video. This project is so important because it embraces all the investments that we are going to talk about today, because anything is about intellectual property. A creation is an answer to a solution, to a problem, sorry. It's an answer to a problem. When there is a problem, you try to find a solution, and this solution could be a creation. If you can deposit it, if you can register this, you are the owner of intellectual property. And intellectual property is also a good, can also be made profits out of, and you can also commercial, you can even sell it. I mean, this is something you African people should have. Intellectual property rights and the money who comes out of it. And I think with the standard that the professor from France created, we are about to bring this project to your country.
So, Mr. Martin Rafik, please. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Professor Solo, Excellencies, Ministers, ladies and gentlemen. It's my really privileged honor, and I must thank Barrister Efru and her team for such an auspicious gathering. I really didn't know so much about South-South. I've been educated especially by the governor. Just quickly, I just want to tell you one thing, that the last few months I've been involved, been seriously looking into the investment possibilities and what's actually wrong in Africa. Now, I'm actually from Pakistan. My father was from Delhi. My children all born, brought up in London. So the Pakistan experience is when I started off 40 years ago in 77, I joined my father's industry. And I was born, my father started the first automobile industry in 1948. So I was literally born, brought up into industrial atmosphere, and I have already seen the poverty, I've seen the small projects, how people have developed. That was a very, very important time for Pakistan. And so when I joined him in 77, just after a few months, joining in the UAE, is one of the largest engine reconditioner in Pakistan. And we have the largest crankshaft grinder for marine engine. If anything goes wrong, if we can't fix it, it has to go somewhere else. We have the largest crankshaft grinder there as well. So having a manufacturing background, I understand industry very well. And in 1980, I started my first public limited company when I left my father. Then I started my group in 1984. So what I'm really trying to explain it to you, during the time when I joined my father in 77, within few months' time, I started my first micro small enterprises. And you won't believe it, within 6 months' time, a product I developed which cost me 50p that time, and I was selling it for 10 pounds. And that was my beginning of realizing how important the manufacturing can be. So I did that, and then I realized that I'm going to end up into manufacturing. So in 1980, I started manufacturing camshaft, engine valve, steel sleeves, gasket, shock absorbers. I must have purchased more than 1,000 machines during that time from UK. I was traveling Midland, I was talking to all these managing directors and directors that why are you selling your machinery? Why are you selling your equipment? Why don't you take this to the developing countries, and instead of redundant people, take them along with this machinery and you can carry on because these products are needed out there. But they were just laughing. They thought that I was some rich man's guy because I was very young at that time, 1980. So they just said that we just wanted to be into service industry, and good luck to you, you manufacture, we'll buy it. I say a day will come you're going to regret. You're going to cry hard because you will not be able to develop these areas once again. You won't be having that kind of a technology as well. But they just thought that, you know. So I knew it, and actually I've just completed my book, Entrepreneurship Through Skill Development, and I've mentioned all these things there. Now my suggestion is that the last few months I'm really quite surprised the amount of, as the governors mentioned, opportunity. Yes, I have seen, I'm really surprised. So hopefully, inshallah, first week of July will be my first visit to Nigeria, but the lucky enough is this, before even going out there, I had met hundreds of people from Nigeria within these 3 months' time, and one of them literally forced me, is one of the Cadi states, king and the prince, and they said, look, let's do one project. So I'm starting my first motorcycle and three-wheel rickshaw manufacturing unit before the end of this year. And I've decided to set up another 5 projects, similar projects, because I rely on motorcycles, and at least I needed to start off something. So what I'm trying to explain it to you, that people don't understand that there is so much one can do in these countries. But let me tell you one thing, micro, small, medium enterprises, you go to anywhere in the world, 85% of the countries, it is the SMEs or the MSMEs. Because if you minus these, all these multinationals will collapse. So literally MSMEs and SMEs are looking up. But when we talk about Africa, what you need is MSMEs. That is the key to success, because if you talk about mega project, oh my God, it's going to take you 10 years, 5 years, planning this, arrange funding. But when you talk about MSME, I mean, I'm giving you an idea. If you do a small project, supposing it costs you, I'm not talking about MSME, I'm talking about a small project. If it costs you, say, $500,000, believe me, end of the year, you will make $2 million profit out of it. So why go for a mega project? You start off, and then once you are doing your small project, you meet new people, you see good opportunities, and then sky is the limit. So I was actually on the same frame of mind, and when I started talking about it, all of a sudden I saw enormous opportunities. Now people are offering mines, people are offering to. So what I'm saying is that light engineering, housing project, textile project are the future where you can create jobs. I'll give you an example of Bangladesh, one of my friends, the Standard Group. He's having 65,000 women working in his garment unit. I think this is amazing. So similarly, looking at your problems of textile in Nigeria, I've seen where Nigeria at the moment is. We were 40, 50 years ago, we were in the same situation. So what I'm suggesting is this, that you really don't need to be a scientist to understand such a simple thing. That's a simple industry which you need to move forward. Copy a country like India, Pakistan, other countries where people have done it. Because you see, you can't copy West, because West products are very expensive and it takes time. So my suggestion is this, what I've decided is, because all my childhood friends are into cement, sugar, textile, engineering, and they are big boys. So I decided that if I move in there, all these guys will follow me because they have a problem. Most of them are all dealing with Europe. And when I started taking an initiative, then I realized one thing. They said, you take a lead and we'll follow. So most of them are my childhood friends. And so, you know, talking about, I used to manufacture 67% Fiat tractor components in Pakistan. So I was one of the biggest vendors out there. So I know the textile industry very well. I know the engineering industry very well. So having a 40 years experience, I am learning very fast, and I realize one thing, that there's a huge vacuum in Africa, and seriously, you know, if we have the right contacts, we can invite people from our part of the world, because like the governor said, even in our part of the world, we are not having those profits, which we can probably have it in Africa. So I totally agree with you. And so there are a number of things I'm planning to do. I'm very, very excited. And with my experience, I realize you can't go wrong. And I would also encourage people that, you know, go for it, but start small and then go big. So,
we also tell Momin that I've arranged a meeting between him and the governor, and you will not leave here today without committing to citing a project in the southeast of the south. The speaker is Dr. Mahajur, who is the Managing Director of the Dutch Council for International Business.
Especially Nigeria. So I wanted to share this afternoon a few slides with you about what my company is doing. But listening to the discussion this morning, I have changed a few things in my slides. I want to talk to you especially about what can you learn from others. Because I think very often people tend to think that we want to reinvent the wheel, whereas others are doing things far much better. So what I want to tell you is a bit about what can we learn from each other. I'm Leonard Mahadeo, I'm the Managing Director of Dutch Council for International Business. And I'm traveling actually around the world for a long time. And my background is quite diverse. I'm a specialist in internationalization strategies, but from background I'm a chemical engineer. And I really work around in 70 countries in developing projects, so I think we have something to share with each other. I live and work nowadays in the Netherlands. And from the Netherlands, from the Dutch Council for International Business, we intend actually to sign a memorandum of understanding today. We will highlight it. And this memorandum of understanding is really about undertaking tangible projects. I think Mr. Rafiq illustrated the way how we want to work or how we are working. And being from the Netherlands, where I'm really involved in the top sector policy, what we call the economic policy of the Netherlands, I will show you some examples of how things can work. And that's why we have a memorandum of understanding with several countries, not only to help people, but mainly, as Professor Soludo said, to make business. Because Dutch companies are the most international companies in the world. We are one of the most innovative countries in the world, and we have a lot to share with others. So what we will do, first of all, is to create awareness about business opportunities in this case in southern Nigeria. And it's about Dutch entrepreneurs to know what is there to get, and the other way around, what can Dutch entrepreneurs also offer to Nigerians, and the other way Nigerians to Dutch companies, because Dutch are sourcing all over the world, add value and sell it back. preferably to the same country again. So to mobilize that, we have a methodology to work. I will not go too much in details, but at the end of the day, what we do is we design tangible projects that are ready for investment, and we bring in capital, global market structures, distribution channels, value-added processes, reselling, all kinds of efforts that are not really related on production, but really on creation. Because to be honest, for me, that's something that I missed this morning. Economy of today is not about natural resources. It's not about oil, it's not about gas, it's not about arable land. It's about creation power. And I would want to be familiar and research more. You have 180 million people in Nigeria. What are their competencies? What are their creation power? What are they consuming? And how can we be part of that consumption process? Because at the end of the day, that's economic. When it comes to production of base materials, we leave it up to China because nobody can beat them. And Southeast Asia also. But we are more creative. We know how to market things, we know how to add value, and we know how to keep innovating, because they are not innovating, they are just producing. And Africa, as said before, has a lot of creation power, a lot of imagination power, and also enjoy doing the things that you are doing. And that's something where we as Dutch also, as European, can learn from Africans, to enjoy doing the things that they are doing. So we have, I will not go into details, but it's about initiating joint projects. So if you are interested in doing projects in Nigeria, we can work together. We identify partners here, we identify partners in Nigeria, in other countries around the world, and we create so-called global value chains in which production, upgrading, logistics, transport going up to the consumer is fully integrated. It means we are unlocking each other's capacities. We are not trying to see maximum investment, but we are trying to create something that goes through capacities that are existing already. We have identified a few sectors, and of course we don't stick only to these sectors, but one of the things that we can learn from the Dutch and the Dutch way of thinking is it's not about having excellent sectors. It's about integrating sectors with each other so that together you create a good value chain. So it's not about planting tomatoes where you harvest the maximum amount of tomato per square meter. It's about getting the maximum amount on the table, food table of the consumer. So it's not about producing tomato, it's about the logistics, it's about the packaging, it's about getting it in time, it's about the quality of the product on the table of the consumer. So it's about safety, it's about packaging, it's food technology, ICT. In the Netherlands, ICT is considered as the vehicle for all innovations and technologies. It's about energy, environment, transport and logistics, healthcare, and finance. So it's about a number of sectors that are individual sectors, but only if you merge them together, you will really create economic development. If we look to the Netherlands, as I said, we can learn a lot of things. The Netherlands is started, for example, as a country of containers, and nowadays we are a country of design, multimodal logistics. We know the Netherlands as a country of the tulips and cheese, but we are the best in food processing. We are the best in flour. 52% of the flour market is in hand of the Dutch. A significant part actually produced in Africa. So we can learn a lot from the Dutch system. Also, we think about logistics. It's about how we integrate various sectors to become innovative and to be leading in different sectors around the world. And at this moment, we are actually doing 32% of our GDP on foreign markets, and we are having a process to increase that to 40%, and Africa is one of the places where we will do that. As said before also, what makes the Netherlands so innovative? What makes it such an international economy? It's because we have a focus on micro-entrepreneurship. We are the country with the highest percentage of micro-entrepreneurs. 22% of the labor population in the Netherlands have an own company, an an individual company that is actually embedded. Our large companies are getting smaller, and we are getting much more companies that are smaller. And that expertise, that entrepreneurial power, is today actually one of the strongest products of the Dutch. It's how to make people competent, that they are not looking for a job, but they create jobs for others. It's a learning, it's an attitude. That's something that we have to transfer. And only by working together you will learn it. So it's about private entrepreneurship, self-employment, and also international. We call it a shift from being an employee to be a co-entrepreneur. It doesn't mean that you have everybody should be an entrepreneur. Even if you work in a company, you should have that attitude that you are part of the company and that you are responsible for the future of the company. So if the boss is not looking, you should keep producing and not think the boss is not looking, so let's relax for a minute. It's also about skills. The Netherlands is all about skills and competencies. We call it the so-called 21st century skills. It's not about how good you are technology-wise, it's about how can you convert in the business. And if you want to convert it in business, you should be able to present it, you should be able to communicate about it, you should be able to convince people, you should be able to put it in a financial model. So it's about school, it's about home, it's about civic engagement, so that you have the skills to convince others and have also that feeling and motivation to keep going. If we look to the Netherlands compared to Nigeria, of course there is a big difference in the global competitiveness index, but still in terms of market, in terms of labor market efficiency, are two key things where Nigeria is very good economically. And those are the things that actually is interesting for the Dutch. The Dutch has a lot of knowledge that they can bring to Nigeria through entrepreneurship to actually improve the situation. And maybe what we do as a company, because I will not go through the other sheets, I think I'm over time already. It's about we are a knowledge company, and we use actually international business development is our core proposition, and we do that from an entrepreneurial perspective. So we are not looking to IMF report or World Bank report or what other economic people are saying. We are looking to the needs of entrepreneurs, and we see what is this entrepreneur missing, and we bring that capacity to the entrepreneur. We think about internationalization. Nigeria, one of the problems in Nigeria, high inflation. Inflation will be high if the local component that is exported is not high enough. So we create global value chains so that a lot of what is produced locally can find its way actually in international markets, so that actually the revenue is partly in dollars. We also do actually acquisition and pre-qualification of projects, not necessarily limited to the Netherlands, but also to India, to East Africa, to Latin America. We have business partners in different parts of the world. So we work actually on demand. It's about knowledge. We work with real-life projects, and it's about innovative and sustainable business models. That's actually what we do. So we actually work not only for Dutch companies, but our clients are basically all over the world, and we help them actually to be able to bring their business from a local business model to an international business model. So if you are interested, we can talk after lunch about it, and we can actually see what we can mean for each other. Thank you.
Also saying to you, if you have any project, can you make sure you have an investment-ready project that is bankable and Dutch money will follow you. So please begin to prepare your business plans, begin to get ready, and let us know once you're ready to engage with DCI. Thank you very much, everyone. Our next speaker is Mr. David Smith, who is the chairman of the British Africa Business Alliance. David is very well known to us. He knows more than you and I know in terms of figures, statistics, and what's actually going on.
Good afternoon, everybody. Professor. Previous speakers, I thank you all. You have set up my conversation this afternoon brilliantly. But I'm going to start by talking about the audience. The power of the diaspora. Because it's, I think, something that we do not recognize. We think of ourselves as individuals. And when we started British Africa, my Ugandan colleagues said to me, David, we have a problem in the African community in the UK. We are very fragmented. We're divided by politics, we're divided by tribe, we're divided by country, we're divided by location. The other problem is that we don't have a Chamber of Commerce. And so over the last 9 years, I have had an interesting voyage through the diaspora of Africa in the United Kingdom, learning about how to bring business people together. I've used 3 minutes, and I've only got to the first slide. I'm slightly concerned. There are 35 slides in this presentation, and it's not going to fit into 10 minutes. But from the first mention this morning, this is an event about doing business. We're going to talk about the Baba Promise, we're going to talk about the power of the diaspora, and then if we have time, we'll talk about trust and confidence, SMEs in Africa, and most importantly, that we are the people we need to meet. That's you guys, not these guys. You guys need to meet each other. The Baba Promise is based on 3 things. If you come to a Baba meeting or to a meeting of one of our affiliates or partners, I would expect you to go away with new contacts. I would expect you to go away with new knowledge. And I would expect you, thanks to the Dutch, to go away with an opportunity of the deal. But actually, there is so much more to it than that. And this is a photograph I took of Africa recently. Yeah, I got in my spacecraft and I flew out there. No, I went to Germany, to a museum. And that is a 25-meter sphere in a gas tank outside Düsseldorf. And it is a projection of Africa onto the globe. And something we always forget is just how big this continent is. And the logistics problems that that creates for everybody. It is also an indication of the size of the opportunity. So when I started to do my evaluation of the diaspora, I came quickly to the conclusion that here in the UK we have about 5.5 million Africans. Probably somewhere between 1.5 and 2 million families, probably between 300 and 500,000 serious business leaders. The trouble with that figure is that every time I talk to an African, they've got, David, how can you help me do my project? So we could have 5.5 million serious business leaders in this country. If we just work on the 300 to 500,000, 200 contacts in a phone gives an influence of 60 to 100 million people on the continent. There is no medium that can deliver that audience. So when you think of the power of the diaspora, it is not just you, it is you and everybody you know. And the other thing I got very tired of in the early days was, David, could you give me some money? And I'm looking at these people and I'm saying, well, he's wearing a nice suit, he's driving a nice car, he's got a good job, why is he asking me for money? And I came to think about it. If you've been here 20 years, is it possible? Now please don't answer these questions, just work them in your mind. Is it possible that you've saved £1,000 a year? If it's possible, and for perhaps the top 300,000 it is possible, That means that there is £6 billion sitting in low-value savings accounts in the UK. And some of my Nigerian friends have come to me and said, David, what's this £1,000? What's this? £50,000, maybe 500,000 Nigerians. That puts £25 billion in the Halifax. Now I think that the conference today is about how we mobilise that money and we put it into South-South and South-East, where it's relevant, into qualifying projects that are worthwhile, that will deliver a return. So we all have to get a lot more serious about the business that we want to do. And I think that the other thing that we have as an opportunity here in this room today is access to funding beyond what the Dutch are offering. Access to funding from the diaspora itself, access to funding from UK organisations, access to technology. We're very well placed for technology here. But most importantly, the third access point we have is access to the diaspora. Because when I put people together, when they join our networks around the UK, things start to happen. I was talking earlier to someone about their contacts and my contacts, and how that becomes our network. And there came this thing of trust and confidence, which comes up in every conversation. And I'm reminded of a UK network I joined in about, it must have been about 2000. And there were 20 or 30 English people standing around in the room saying, hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? What do you do? No one wanted to work with anyone. 9–10 months later, those people had formed into a group. They were passing between 160 and 200 leads every week to each other because they had learned to have confidence. They had learned to begin to trust. And when we talk about the fragmentation of the diaspora, these are things that we need to deal with. So here is a scattergram. In the blue box are the Baba members, and I sit on the edge. And you are mostly outside. There were one or two of us here today, so I'm delighted that you are. How do we bring you and your contacts into contact with our members? How do we bring your projects forward so you can find funders who are interested in the sort of things that you want to do? And that's why I come back to, we are the people we ought to meet. We are the people we want to meet. And now, since I've already gone over the 10 minutes, I'm going to skip all these lovely things, and I'm going to come down to what I've got as the Baba SSENIF business pipeline. We've got a refinery project. It looks as though it will be about 220 million. The principal for it was here this morning. He's gone to another meeting. We have a potential investor in place. What we need to do is bring the paperwork together. In Cambridge, I met a gentleman who is opening a $60 million project in Abbey Estate to develop a 30,000 hectare cassava farm. Alongside that, the cassava farm will be a biomass generator which will provide electricity to the local community. Alongside that farm will be a business park. Alongside that business park will be a vocational college which will allow young Nigerians to learn the artisan skills that they need to set up the micro businesses that Mervyn was talking about a little earlier. Through Huddersfield, we have a $5 million poultry farm that will produce 40,000 birds a week. Through one of our contacts in Enugu, where we set up a business last year called British Nigerian Business Network, we have a building materials market looking for $300 million, 300 million naira. In Anambra State, we're working on a glass factory. We've had trouble getting the feasibility study done, and the results of the feasibility study that was done in September have not yet reached my desk. Sorry, it was September? No, yeah, September. You can feel my frustration. A glass plant was recently set up in a neighbouring state. Has Anambra lost out? I don't know yet. But we have the technology, we have the finance, we need to know about the sand. Rice growing in River State vocational colleges. Last January I was invited to Benin City to talk about young people and what we can do to create jobs for them. And I built the idea of a vocational college that is supported by international investment, that generates a revenue for the college through the businesses that it creates. I'm happy to talk to all of you about that at a later stage. And finally, does anyone here have a little bit of land in Nigeria that they're looking to do something with agriculture? Because through our network in Enugu, we have access to funding through Bank of Industry, Bank of Agriculture, CBN, for agricultural projects that meet the criteria of Nigeria. So I'm happy to talk to you about that. What I would suggest is that you get together as business leaders, follow the examples of the Abia Business Club and the Ebonyi Business Club that have started in the last couple of months here in London, and start bringing your projects forward. Start refining them, because I will leave you with one thought. Nigeria needs 700,000 new SMEs by 2020. They're not coming from the village. And financiers looking at Nigeria cannot find valid plans. So there's a lot of hard work to do. Thank you.
Because he said something, and I think one of the projects, £60 million, that $60 million project, is that glass? For Anambra, and that you're still waiting for the feasibility studies, so done by who?
It's done by the
Commissioner for Mines in Ibinabo. Okay. I think probably before we leave, I'm gonna try to make the calls, and we'll see why that hasn't got into your desk. And I think thank you.
Very quickly, I recognize Sir Chibuzo Ugochi, who is the chairman of NIDO UK South, Charles Mwofo, who is the chief of staff, Anambra State. Welcome. Benson Azuka, vice chairman, Kanu, and Chief Uzo Umune, chairman, NGO UK. You're very welcome. We have engineer Oparugo, who is the CEO of Gilson and Company Limited. Engineer Oparugo is a voice for action for our industrial revolution.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocol reserves. Please, my name is Michael Oparugo, and I'm a member of Institute of Mechanical Engineering, UK. I'm also a member of Institute of Ceramics, Polymer and Glass Technology. Before my coming into the United Kingdom, I have a company at home which is also still existing. I'm talking about under a small-scale industry with experience, and also having worked for over 25 years here in industry. So, due to some little technical problem we're having, I hope I'll be able to explain something clearly to you. Sorry for my voice. It's a great honor to be in your midst today. And above all, they have distinguished ladies and gentlemen on the table. Please, upon all we have just said, I've brought so many aspirations towards what we all said here. But I want to point out few words which I've heard from people who have spoken before. As somebody who has been with nothing and out of a kind of personal desire, I decided to do something for my very self. And I thank God that I made an effort that really worked. Nigeria needs to be developed by Nigerians. Like Doctor said, that domestic capital lays in foreign capital. Please, what I just want to say is, why do we, like the gentleman from Pakistan, Indian origin, clearly set the example with the crankshaft running and all sort of thing he learned from his father and grew up with it, that we should start small. That is very basic, and exactly what I did that helped me. That made me be able to stand in your midst here. Each one of you maybe must have had some paint industry or one or thing going on for you home before you left. So you must have got some experience from that. During the time I was at home, we know that of Minster, some took money from Minster, they will not do what they are asked to do, they invest in another thing. Some lobbies and all those things. But how is this country built? Like when I was working in Ibinabo as a site assistant construction supervisor in the construction industry. Before you set up a building like this, you must have a foundation. And if you don't have a foundation, there is no engineering marvel you can do to set it up. Have we got the foundation? That's what we have to ask ourselves first. Now, for you to grow young youths, empower them, what do they need? Well, I believe my first experience that water can be frozen on the street when I landed myself at Don State Technical University, I was still on Don Russia, doing an agro machine building. Sorry if I put it in other languages because it's not only English I speak. They call it machine accelerator, which is machine building, agro machine building. I remember what one of my lecturers did. I met a lot of Chinese, I met a lot of Indians there. He said, Lucia in Razovid, change Torah's Vascara, which means it's better for you to see something once where it's done than 100 times of reading academic. There is difference between academics and practical nature. I have worked at William Coates as a steel caster, making various parts of caterpillars and other equipment. I made virtually every part in automobile industry. So what I'm trying to ask is that if you go back home, what I saw in Russia, what I see in England, what I saw in England here, even when I was at Sheffield University mapping building, doing material science and engineering, I know what Dr. Parker and what the rest of them said on how, because we do have some of these seminars, how countries will grow. When you finish, what will you achieve? What do you want to do? Have your youths been given those basics, foundations? I also heard about Dr. Soludo saying something about Nnewi, which I've been there present myself. I remember during the days my family bought a Dyna Delta. It was very difficult to get the pass. The driver stopped at Ore. My father, glory to him, 108 years of age, he said, man, you only learn how to drive, but you can't repair, but you have to go to Ore to get from Nnewi, get the mechanic, go to Ore, get the gearbox, take it up, and then go to Nnewi to fabricate it. I was a member of Brad Founder days. So I wish I could have, thank God it's up on the screen. So what I'm trying to say is, how many foundries do we have in Nigeria in each state? Like when you go to Sheffield, Sheffield was once like China, which you usually see now. Coal is the chief source of energy. When people talk about solar power, solar this, I have a radio here, which my composure to give you some practical stuff is not what's due to technical hinges. It's not what I actually read. But at least you get to the point where I'm going. Now, in your own local government, in your states, how many foundries do you have? Can you make crankshaft, like you said? Can you even mold that? If you cannot do those, then what are you talking about? I make machines, practical machines, moving machines. I work with ADB. I remember one certain time, the governor of Abia State took some young shoemakers to China. Once he came up on NTA, the machine that they were using was made by ADB, and I know what they passed the everything they were talking about. So, talk about China. Now, Japan, Germany had a very serious defect. What made them come up? Well, China is producing very much. But I can tell you 90% of the machines they are using are imported from Germany. They are not produced. This is how do we get about making ourselves producing chips? We call chip and pin card or whatever. So these parts, these things is what I do. Now, let me tell you one thing. You talk about industrialization, bringing in foreigners to help us. But our climate, our condition of things where what we do and where we stay, have we got the technology to suit us? How many homes back home has fridge? If you have fridge, how they're working, you have power to run on them. These are the things that we need to go into. Now, a man, like, I got something which they're all in the box. A man who produces chocolate, get just a field of chocolate, like this space, and he has adequate technology. Yeah? And one who has almost 10 times this field with more technology. I am sure that the person who has this with technology will come and start still. But the person that has no technology, or whatever. So when we talk of agriculture, we need to talk about preservation.
Go through again on who can register a company in the UK. Now, anybody can register a company in the UK. Solicitors can register a company in the UK. Accountants can register a company in the UK. Even you as an individual can go online, register your company. You can also buy a company off the shelf, which, frankly speaking, makes it a whole lot easier. Now, I'm going to look at the Nigerian model. Nigerian equivalent to Companies House is called the Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC. Now, the power that CAC uses, or the governing law that governs Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, is come from Companies and Allied Matters Act, which is called CAMA for short. So the CAC basically is a government commission set up out of the law of CAMA in order to facilitate registration on all modules, on all areas of company activities in Nigeria. And obviously powers and duties of CAC is all derived from Section 7. I won't, because of the time, I won't go into the details of each individual statute, but I will just highlight the relevant sections. To administer the Act, to establish and maintain company registries, arrange and conduct investigations where issues come up. For instance, if there are fraud committed by the directors, the Corporate Affairs Commission will be the entity responsible for conducting such investigations. And obviously a casual phrase here, which is to perform such other functions as may be specified by the Act or enactment. And also finally the deal with registry of business names. In as much as CAC is a federal government commission, they have decentralized the Corporate Affairs Commission in a way that all the 36 states all have offices, CAC offices, except a few states like Lagos, where for obvious reasons on the size and the need, they created more than one office. But in the South-South and the Southeast, every state capital have a Corporate Affairs Commission where one can incorporate the business. And the duties that these offices deliver include business name registration, processing statutory filing, and so on and so forth. Who can register a company in Nigeria? Unlike the UK, where anybody can sit in their bedroom and register a company, there are specific legal requirements that even if you have an e-service that you can register a company, there's a requirement that you must employ the services of one of these entities, which is the legal practitioners, the solicitors. There's a section in the CAC form which actually requires accredited legal practitioner or a chartered accountant or a chartered secretary to certify that the form that you're sending is proper. And without that duly certification, that form cannot be accepted in the Corporate Affairs Commission. And so, in an ideal situation, who can register a company are individuals because they can do part of the registration online to save costs, and legal practitioner, chartered accountants, and then chartered secretaries. Now, business name registration, who needs it? Sole proprietors needs to have the business name registered. For instance, if you are trading as ABC or John James, you don't need any registration because that is your name. But if you are trading as John James and Co., that name must be registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission. And then obviously partnership and other firms must be registered, and all limited liability companies. Now, Part C, incorporated trustees and registration. Now, this is used for non-governmental organizations, and as listed in here, these NGOs include clubs, churches, town hall, town unions, and so on and so forth. So they register under Part C. And the formation processes, basically, as an NGO, you want to set up an NGO in Nigeria, the first thing you need to do is appoint trustees. Now, these trustees will now be registered, and they will be referred to as incorporated trustees. But those trustees are appointed by you, then they bear the title incorporated trustees, and they will have the full right as a legal entity. Foreign companies doing business or about to do business in Nigeria. And non-Nigerians are liberty and indeed encouraged to start a business in Nigeria. In fact, as the professor has alluded earlier, there are so many incentives which are probably going to touch much later, where the federal government is actively encouraging foreign and inward investments into Nigeria.
Now,
I need to skip a few bits. Okay. Now, when you are trying to set up a business in Nigeria, one very fundamental point is that you don't need to necessarily be in Nigeria in person. You can appoint a fellow solicitors, depending on the size of the business, or you can appoint an individual barrister, because the legal system in Nigeria is fused. The lawyers, the solicitors, and the barristers, they wear the same hat. So you can appoint them to act as, give them power of attorney, to represent you in setting up of the business, and that power of attorney must be duly drafted in a way that is only specific, that as soon as the business is incorporated, they need to step down. They need to step down. And Section 54 of CAMA did actually exclude certain businesses from this task of being registered. Such entities are foreign companies invited to Nigeria by the approval of the government to do specific projects. Foreign companies in Nigeria for the execution of specific projects of foreign government companies, foreign government-owned companies or entities, and engineering consultants. Requirement for registering a foreign company includes name, reservation, and the rest of the listed items on the board. Some of these items are generally the forms that Corporate Affairs Commission requires you to fill. So I don't think it's necessary to list them, but if you do need them, I'm happy to make this slide available to you at the end of the meeting. Now, there are principal laws that require inward investment into Nigeria. One of them is Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission Act, number 16 of 1995, and the Foreign Exchange Monitoring and Miscellaneous Provision Act, number 17 of 1995. I think I will focus for the rest of this presentation on the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, because they are actually who will be over the other side waiting to receive you with your money, and they will offer you all benefits. And this is an agency of government, and their duties and their functions will be listed in due course. I'll just quickly mention a few businesses that you're not allowed to do in Nigeria. Part of them is production of arms and ammunition, production of and dealing in narcotics, manufacture of military or paramilitary wares and accoutrements, and participation in coastal and inland shipping. You can do every other thing except these ones. A foreign investor in an approved enterprise is guaranteed. Now, these are very important guarantees the government gives. They're guaranteed that their fund can be converted out in any currency freely, in any currency that they want. Dividends, obviously after tax have been paid, can be moved if need be. The remittance of proceeds, net of all tax and other obligations in the event of sale or liquidation of the enterprise. Total repatriation of capital should the investor choose to relocate elsewhere. I think the whole idea, essence of this section of the law is that the government allows inward investor entry and also allows the inward investor exit. So you have an entry point and exit point. You can take your money out when you are, however way you so wish, as listed under the law. And also there's another assurance here. It's called investment protection assurance. And this is important because it just covers the role and the actions government will take. The government cannot nationalize or expropriate your business. without reason, unless on national security basis only. And the rest of here, and even where such happens, it will be done under a payment of fair and adequate compensation must be paid to the individual or the company concerned. Okay, I'm going to just quickly go through one or two more points and I'll step down. The next is the steps. There are 3 steps you need to set up a business in Nigeria. The first step is to register the business, the business with Corporate Affairs Commission. The next step is to list the premises to show that the business is actually, you're genuinely about to start a business. So you kind of the lease assignment. And the third step, step C, is to prepare and submit a simultaneous application to the Nigerian Investment Promotion Council. And as Professor Soludo mentioned earlier, one of the incentives the government has for inward investors is that if you attain the status of pioneer status, that means you're a manufacturer, bringing a manufacturing company, you can actually have a 5 years tax-free holiday. That's basically run your business for 5 years without paying any tax. And I will quickly go on the costings. Okay. The costing is in a different slide, so if anyone wants the information on that, corporate affairs fees and NIPOS fees, I'll be more than happy to email that to them. Our column is to just give, on behalf of SSENIF, the vote of thanks, please.
Thank you. Good evening again, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, esteemed chairman and keynote speaker. What can we say about today? I don't know about you, but more energized this evening than when we even started in the morning. It's been a very eventful day. It's been a very inspiring day. We, on behalf of the South and Southeast states of Nigeria, the SSENIF organizers, the European Igbo Communities, in collaboration with the Council of Igbo Communities, United Kingdom, Ohanaeze, UK and Ireland, and all the South-South organizations, we wish to thank very profusely our chairman and keynote speaker, Professor Charles Soludo. Professor Soludo has not only been supportive in attending this event, but he's been driving it. He's been the force behind this event, and we're grateful that he's been clear for all of us to see today. I also wish to thank our special guest of honor, His Excellency, Justice George Oguntade, the High Commissioner of Nigeria to the UK, who was ably represented by Chief Oliver Nwankwor. I also want to thank members of the High Commission who, though they couldn't attend today, they were very supportive in the planning of this event. The Honorable Minister, Head of Trade and Investment, Mr. A. Sule, the Honorable Minister and Chief of Protocol, Mrs. M. Okpi, the Chairman of the IMS Assembly, Chief Tikubala, who also shared with us his expertise on the maritime opportunities in Nigeria. We also wish to thank and appreciate Nikki, our sponsor, our official sponsor. Without her, this project would still be an idea, a plan, a piece of paper. But she's made it happen today. Yeah. We also wish to thank all the speakers, the group that Professor Soludo described as the Friends of Nigeria. We wish to thank all the investees who have presented and pitched their project. and to thank all of you who attended today and who have been gracious enough to stay to the end. Very many thanks. And again, a round of applause.
We're going to be rounding up now, and we're closing now. As the professor have just said, the next event, the next summit, several times, the next. So what we're going to do is going to speak to who are going to be the host for the next, please. Just for 2 more minutes and we're off.
For 1 minute. Okay, just 1 minute. Like I said, I'm from the Netherlands, so the next event is going to be in the Netherlands. I don't have all the details, but I'll send out the details as soon as we have the day, the place. So, but just kind of put a place in your calendar that's going to be in the Netherlands in 2019. And there's one thing that hasn't happened here. I'm going to say that. Sorry for those that don't speak Igbo. I just want to say Igbo Kwenu. Yeah. Igbo Kwenu.